Welcome at part 3 of the Blender 2.8 for beginners. In this tutorial we are going to model the joystick and add some colors. Just to remind you, I've got a display down here that will show you what mouse and keyboard buttons I'm using. Before we can start modeling our joystick, we need to make sure that we have some clean workspace. So I'm going to press A to select the TV and button. I'm going to press M, click on New Collection, call this TV, click on OK. Close the collection, hide the collection. Shift A to spawn in a cube. Go to the front view with numpad 1. Going to edit mode with tab. Press G to move. Press Z to lock it. Hold Ctrl and move it onto the red line. Going to hold my mouse wheel into 3D mode. And I just want to tell you that at the moment we are using vertex modes, which we can select these vertex. You also have edge mode, you can select these edges, and you have face mode, which you can select the whole face in once. With the face being selected, go to the front view with numpad 1, press G, press Z, hold Ctrl, and just move it so it's 4 blocks off the red line. Now let's get back into 3D mode while holding the mouse wheel and moving the mouse so you guys can see what's going to happen next. With this all being selected, let's click onto the tool, let's add a modifier and let's click on bevel. Now the only thing of the bevel that I'm going to show you for now is when you adjust this, you can see how smooth or how not smooth the edge will be, or better to say how big. In this case I'm going to put it on 0.04 and then enter. Now if I want to apply this, Blender will say error, modifiers cannot be applied in edit mode. So we first have to go out of edit mode and then click on apply. In this case we're going to go back into edit mode. We're going to select this face, going to click on X, only faces. Then I'm going to put it back on vertex mode, and then we're going to spawn in a circle, shift A, circle, and this circle has way too many vertices, so we're going to open this menu and change this to 8. Gonna go to the front view with numpad 1, gonna press G, Z, hold your control and move it onto the top line. Let's go to the top view with numpad 7. Then press S for scale, hold your control, move it inwards twice. Shift D, S, control and move it inwards a few times like so. I'm just gonna zoom in a little more, because when you are zoomed out too much and I press G and hold control to move it onto the grid, you can see I can place it here or either here, and I want to have it in the middle. In order to do that, I will have to zoom in a lot more until these smaller cubes are visible. Press G, hold your control, but it's going to be way too smooth, so I'm going to count this. 1 down, 1 left. Alright, down, left, down, left, down, left, and then click it. And now this line here is still good. It's very important for now. So what we are going to do next is fill in some faces. And filling in some faces is sometimes a big discussion in Blender. Because some people say, hey, use triangles, other people say use n-gons. Now in order to show you what an n-gon is, I'm just going to spawn in a cylinder. And you can see that this top face has, like in this case, 32 vertices. So when it's more than 4, a face is called an n-gon, right? We're not going to use that right now. I want you to learn and just use triangles on parts where you need to use triangles. So I'm just going to select those 3 and press F to fill in the blank, and this is a triangle. Very nice, right? I'm going to select a couple of those, and meanwhile I'm just going to, talk this and talk that until a certain point, and then we need to do something else. Now, triangles is something you cannot always use. For example, when you use a subsurf modifier, which I have something to say in a minute, you can actually not use triangles. Not always, maybe there are some moments, but you don't want to use that because your object will look weird at some spots if it's not done correctly. But there are moments when you can use it. For example, when you make this artwork like this, or when you're making a low poly game. I have seen low poly game characters which still use triangles. Yeah, it's a bit of a discussion when to use it and when not to use it. So in this case, I've got this all triangled up. Now, there is a moment here where I can actually use 4 of them and fill in a face of 4. It depends when to use 4 and when not to use 4. Before I was test modeling this, and then I had 4 vertices selected. For example, I'm just gonna say this down here, and somehow I got a line outside of this ring. Then that is wrong. So I want you as much to learn to also use triangles. But Blender also seems like to use n-gons nowadays, so the line doesn't go through. Maybe it's a little bit too much information and too confusing. Just do what I'm doing right now. Okay, so more triangles, right? This one here, triangle up. Also, I'm thinking of it. If you cannot really see what's going on, which is the bottom and which is the top, you can also switch the color of this, which I mean if you open this tab while you have it selected onto this mode here, click on matte cap, straight away you see something changing. You can also see that the colors here are not correct. I will talk about that in a second. But when you have it on matte cap and you open this, you can see a lot of colors and stuff. I have used this one for mine because the ground is dark and the top is light, except for those. Why is this happening? Is because these faces are upside down. Blender sometimes doesn't know how to act with stuff. We do. So there's one thing we can do about that is press A to select all, press Alt N, and then recalculate outside. And now as you can straight away see, these faces are turned the right way. I'm just gonna press Alt A to unselect everything so you have a better idea. And now you can clearly see where is a top face and where you don't have a top face. So yeah, let's keep on going. Press F, select, hold Shift, stuff like that. Hope it makes a little bit of sense what I'm saying here. I had a little bit of difficulty before doing this and explaining stuff. But now this is fine. So the only 4 vertices we selected was actually at this part down here. Now before we continue with these two, we are going to copy this one like so. And we're going to go to the side view with numpad 3. Zoom in for just a bit. Shift D to copy this ring. Press escape to let go. Press R for rotating, press X to lock it, hold your Ctrl and move it like so, then press G, press Ctrl and move it just down here, because we're going to need to have one on this side where the cable comes out, right? Just in case you decide like, hey, I want my joystick to be fell over and turn around because someone was angry playing this game and he lost. Then you want to have some details on the back too, right? So you can better straight away put it in there than do this as last. I'm just going to put it on face mode. Select this face, press X, only faces. I'm going to put it back on vertice mode. Hold Alt, select this whole ring. I'm going to go back to the side view with numpad 3. Zoom in for a bit more. Press G, press Y, hold Ctrl, just move it in there. And meanwhile it's in there, we need to go to the top view. Press G, press X, hold your Ctrl and move this to the middle. Now once again, when you zoom out too much, you cannot have too much control, so we need to zoom in for a bit. G, X, Ctrl, and now I can place it straight away in the middle. Are we gonna do this faces right now? Anything else, we're gonna do that later on. So press S, and I'm going to hold Ctrl and move it inwards 3 times, something like this would be fine. Let's fill in the faces. Once again, triangles. Same on the opposite side. And you see also that instead of pressing Alt A to unselect, I'm just clicking in the field. You can do that, but be careful. If you try to select out the field and you're too close, you can still select other vertices. You have to be very careful with that. Right, so let's do the same with those ones. Just gonna do this side first. Just like so, very good. Well, mind you something here. I'm just going to undo the stuff, because this is something that I overlooked. Actually, these ones can be a face of 4 vertices. Very good. I should have straight away seen this, I didn't. So that's why actually the best thing to do is first look for faces that can have 4 vertices. Or else, you know, you might make a mistake there. It's not too bad of a thing, because we're not going to sell this model anyways. You see one face is turned the wrong way, or multiply out of the wrong way. Press A, press Alt N. We calculate the outside, and now it's all fine. So now we have holes, and we can do something with those holes. Let's go back into edit mode. I'm going to press Alt A to unselect everything. The whole Alt, select this ring down here, and go to the top view with numpad 7. And actually for this whole process, let me just turn this thing on, the X-ray. Press E, press S, hold Control, move it inwards once. Go to the front view with numpad 1. Press G, press Z, move it down twice. Just, you know, you can decide for yourself, 1 or 2 looks better. Then I'm going to press E for extrude, Z, hold Control, and move it something like this. The distance doesn't matter, because now at this moment I'm going to show you another trick in Blender. I'm going to duplicate, copy, Shift D this ring, place it down straight away. From the front view I'm going to press E for extrude and just place it like so. Gonna press E for extrude, Z, Control, need to start think here, S for scale, hold Control, and this is fine. I'm gonna go to the top view, just turn X-ray off for now, press E, press S, hold Control, and I'm gonna move it all the way towards the middle. Why do I do this right now and not at the 3 buttons? I will explain you in a second. I'm gonna press Alt M and merge by distance. Now the reason why we did this separate, made an object within an object, is because if we want to color this stuff, it's way more handier to separate this. So you can press L nearby a vertex. And now you can see we selected this whole button. Because if this button was still connected with the base, we will have to hold Alt and Shift and select every of this piece, and it's, you know, it's difficult to see, and you have to turn X-ray on and select this, and oh no, I selected wrong stuff. We don't want to mess around with that. We just want to make it separate, so we only have to press L nearby a vertex. When I learned this stuff, I was like pressing L. Why doesn't it always work? Sometimes it works. You need to hold it with a vertex and then it will always work. Alright. About the button. I'm just going to go out of edit mode with tab. Turn it to feedback on for this button. Now, I'm going to select the button in edit mode. You see an extra ring. This ring is not needed at all. The reason why I made this is because I've been working way too much with Subsurf, which I told you before. I will explain you. This thing will make everything very smooth. The more you increase this, the very smoother this will be, right? The problem with this is sometimes you don't want it to be too smooth, for example at the top. Well, I'm going to show you what I mean. Hold Alt, select this ring. I'm going to go to the top view. Now, if I would make this ring bigger by pressing S for scale, you can see that it will get lesser round, but the edge is still smooth. So that's why I've added in this extra ring, but the ring is not neat. So in this case, we're going to remove the ring. It's going to be very easy. We're just going to select the ring and shift to also select this vertex down here. I'm going to press Alt M. And then we're going to merge at the center. So everything will go to the center. And now a couple of vertices have been removed. It's only silly Blender doesn't show it at this moment. It's okay. I believe it was 16 of them. So now we have just, made it the proper way. We are ready mode with tab, hide the TV, let's get back with the joystick. So we have a button. Now we need to make the joystick stick itself. So with the base being selected, let's go into edit mode with tab. Alt, select this outer ring. Then go to the top view with numpad 7. Press E for extrude, press S for scale, hold Ctrl and move it inwards once. Go to the front view with numpad 1. Turn X-ray on, press G, press Z, hold Ctrl and move it until this line down here. So it has the same bevel as on the outside. I think that's very nice. Go to the front view with numpad 7, or top view with numpad 7. E for extrude, S, hold down the Ctrl, move it in once. Go to the front view with numpad 1. E for extrude, Z, Ctrl, move it down, just like so. It doesn't matter how much the distance is. This is what we want. I'm just going to turn X-ray off again. So now we're going to make this rubbery stuff with the waves in it. For now, I'm just going to only select this top ring. We're going to extrude it later on when we are finished with making these waves. There is no reason for that. Shift D to duplicate. Escape to let it go. Front view with number 1, G, Z. We're just going to move this up here. It's important to hold your control because we need to place it back later on. Why are we doing that? Well, I'm going to select all with A. Hold Alt and Shift so I can unselect this top ring and press on H to hide this stuff so we can see what's going on and we don't have trouble with the base. Whew. Okay. Hold Alt, select this ring, and now we're gonna go to the front view. Zoom in for a bit. E for extrude and move it up something like this. You just need to see the distance for yourself. Then press S, move this inwards once. Alright. Go to the top view. Press E, S, hold Ctrl, move it in once. Go to the front view again. Press G, Z, and move it down once. But this is too much. Need to zoom in for a bit. G, Z, Ctrl, and move it on the same line like this. So this is what we fixed right now. Alright. Next coming up, press A to select all. Go to the front view with number 1. We need to zoom in for a bit because, we need a smaller grid. So press Shift D, Z, Ctrl and move it onto the top of the other one. And now we need to make this smaller, but we don't want to lose any height. I'll just show you with S what I mean for scale. That we want to make it smaller, but we're losing the height, and we need to readjust it onto the top again. That's way too much work, right? So what we can do, I'm just going to show you what I mean. Hold the mouse wheel and go into 3D mode. So after you press S for scale, press Shift and Z. Z means we left the Z out, because now it will only scale it for X and Y, and we don't lose any height. Right? Okay, I'm just going to press escape for that. We're going to go to the top view with numpad 7. S, Shift, Z. You want to hold Shift after you press Z, you can let it go. Okay. Control, move it inwards twice. So you get this space between in. If you don't get the space between in, and it will exactly stop on this line, then after you place it down, just press S and don't hold Control, so you can make a little bit of a gap between it. The gap is what we want. Alright, go to the front view, zoom in, Shift D, Z, Control, move it on the top, go to the top view, press S, hold Shift, press Z, hold Control, move it inwards once. Now, we have selected each time, right? But what we also can do is just now press A to select all of them. Go to the front view, zoom in, Shift D, Z, Control, and move this whole party up there. Go to the top view, numpad 7, press S, Shift, Z, hold Control, and I'll move the whole show inwards. And now you can see, this isn't right. Oh boy, what a mess. S, Shift, Z, and just eyeball this out. You don't have to hold Control, just roughly. And now we have made the whole tower for our joystick. We need to fill in the blank here, which is not too bad to do. It's a little bit repetitive stuff. Select this, hold your Shift of course, fill in with F, select 2, hold down F, there you go. Just hold the Shift, press F, hold Shift, press F. It's not too much of work. It is a lot of work if you don't know that you can actually hold F after you made one face, so it will go automatically. Like so. One more here. Did I just select the wrong one? No, I didn't. Hold F. Press F. Hold F. And now I just filled in the whole tower down here. I don't know an easier way to do that actually. It is fine for now. So now we have this rubbery stuff. Press Alt H to bring back the whole show. X-ray on so we can select all of these after we unselected this down here. Go to the front view, numpad 1. Press G, Z, and move it down just like so. And because I use Control, it perfectly fits in place. Now what you want to do is select near it. And you want to actually select the face. Now, I hope it's this one, yeah. So select this line out here while holding Alt. I should have done this before. So before you lower it, select the line down at the bottom. Go to the front view, press E for extrude and just Z and Control and just bring it down, something like this. Should have done that before lowering everything, so it's a lot easier to do. Alright, I'm going to turn the X-ray off again. We're almost done. But last time I actually thought, oh, making a joystick doesn't really take this long. Well, eventually it does. We're going to select this inner ring down here. And then we are going to bring it up for a bit, because it's way too much. I'm going to go in wireframe instead of going on X-ray. G, Z, hold Control and just move it something like this. Press E and move it down twice. Shift D to copy this one because we want to give the top of the joystick a different color. Bring it down by clicking on the left mouse button, zoom out. Press E, bring it up. This will be enough. Zoom in. Press E, Z, Control, move it up twice. Press S for scale, Control, move it inwards. 1 is enough. Then we need to be a little bit more careful here because the joystick shouldn't be too thin and not too thick. Okay. I'm just going to do this from the top view. Press Z again and put it on solid mode. I'm going to do this rough. E, S, Control. I think this should be enough. Maybe that's too thin. S, a little outwards. Maybe even a little more. Sometimes you need to eyeball things out. Like I'm trying to imagine a hand on this thing, right? So this is fine. Okay. Let's press E to extrude and then something like this would be fine. I'm going to press S to scale it down a few times. with a little bit more of a shape. And then at the top, zoom in. E for extrude, bring it up twice. S, hold Control, bring it down inwards. E, extrude. S, hold Control, move it to the middle. Alt M, merge by distance. When I go out of edit mode, we now have our basic shape for a joystick, except for in the back. So let's do the back too. Add some colors and we are done. Go back into edit mode. Now from this 3D view, I'm just going to select this ring down here while holding Alt. Go to the side view, turn on X-ray. Sometimes use X-ray and sometimes use wireframe. You can decide for yourself what to use, I believe. No, you cannot decide it for yourself. Because wireframe also needs X if you want to select multiply vertices. Okay. With stuff being selected, I'm going to press E for extrude. I can actually do this from this view. Press S, hold on Control. 1, 2 would be enough. Go to the side view again, and now we can do this inwards. G, Y, and hold Control, move it inwards. E, Y, Control, move it inwards. Something like this. Once again, we're gonna make this a separate color. Shift D to copy this ring, place it down with left mouse button. E, Y, Control. Something like this. E, Control, something like this. S for scale, Control, move it inwards. 1 or 2. Let's just check it from the side view. One more. You can also do it from the side view. You don't have to do it in 3D. Anyhow, going to turn this off so you can better see what's going on here. Press E, press S, hold Control, and this time I'm gonna keep it on 1. But I'll make this smooth because you work with wires and stuff. And then I'm going to press E, press S, make it kinda the same size as the outer one. I'm going to go to the side view with numpad 3, turn the X-ray back on. G, Y, Control, move it in twice. Press E, Y, hold Control. I find it very funny if you do this so much explaining this. And then go out of X-ray. And now we also have the basic for our button. Now you might find this a little bit like, hey, I find this too rough. Hold Alt, select the ring, hold Shift, and then do this again on this side. And you can just say like, okay, let's do this rough by pressing S for scale. Just do it like so. You know, something like this. You want to have some details in it, so you know when you decide to turn this joystick around and flip it on its side because someone has been angry losing the game, we have some details going on. And now we have our joystick in shape. Now you can be not happy with how thick this is. You can adjust this stuff yourself. You know now how to model a basic. Let's give it some colors. I'm going to turn it on look depth. At the moment it's white. That's okay. I'm going to click onto this ball. And we're going to add a black. Now, before adding another color, we need to add in another line. Then we're going to click on black again. We are going to copy black. Because black already have the roughness onto the right size, by default it's 0.5. And I'm going to change this to red. Click and find a nice red. I had this one, something like this, and then try to find a red which has a little touch of white in it. In order to see things better, let's zoom in, hold our mouse at a vertex of the button and press L. Assign it. Or in this case, I think I've turned this stuff around, so let's change this back. Let's take a vertex of the base here and press L. And then put it on right. Red, very good, English. Let's do the same here. L, assign. Now we can see the red a lot better. I think this is kind of fine, maybe a little touchy darker, a little lighter. You just have to kind of, yeah, I think this is exactly fine. This is exactly fine. I'm going to go to render mode, which we added last time, or out of edit mode. Yeah, this is just perfect. This is a perfect red with black. And now we have our joystick ready on all sides. Very good, right? One thing that has to happen, we're going to turn the TV back on. And we still have our joystick selected. If not, then click on the joystick, press M. New collection, I'm going to call it JY. And then from the top view, just roughly, hey, what is that? Oh, I got something turned on. I haven't been seeing that all the time. That's very bad. I don't know why that happened. Yeah, with the joystick being selected from the top view. Oh boy, bad. Okay. We need to resize this stuff. I'm gonna go to the front view with numpad 1. You can, by the way, just do this in here if you just find it ignorant. And then press S for scale. I'm gonna hold Control and just kinda aim this out. And I'm trying to look at the stick here and trying to look at the button, how big a hand would be. Like this button, of course, is very big. It's an old TV. I think this is nice. Now, we are not going to shift D copy this. We are going to Alt D copy this. I'm gonna hold Control. Move it down here. And amen, I finally got the tutorial done after 5-6 takes. Very good. So here we got the joysticks. Now the next time we are going to make the console and call it a console. And if there is a little bit more time left, we're also going to make the game on the TV, give this the right colors. And then after that there will be one more tutorial where we're going to do the wire stuff and you know, correct the things that are neat. You will see it then. Anyhow, for now, if you have some questions or requests, then use the comment section down below. If you found this video handy, then like and subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching.